engagement. If you're getting engagement, activity, people like your content, people are paying attention to it and interacting with it, that means people are staying on Facebook longer.
Is actually to repurpose the content. So if you really like the message that the carrier is saying in the content, you're like, oh wow, this is really powerful.
And so it's easy and lazy to share posts. A squirrel is worth 2 points and a post with a dog is worth 3 points. But if you share it, then it's negative 1 point. There's no like A, B, C, D. Let's talk about first the top reasons why certain posts don't generate the desired results. So we want to cover a few of the basics first to make sure you're doing the behind the scenes to ensure your content performs well. Because if you're not doing these basic things, then you're not going to get results. Like these are some of the stuff you have to initially have correct in order to get the results from social. So Elle, I love if you start diving us into this. I know I'll be hopping into, but let's kick off on some of those basics off the bat.
Yeah, so I think this is a common misconception too with social media, that it's like that idea you build it and they will come, like you generate the content and the leads will flow. But there's really a lot of, you said it in such a great way, behind the scenes work that actually goes on that kind of sets the stage for your content to perform well. And so we're going to kind of demystify social media for you a little bit. First up, let's talk a little bit about that behind the scenes work that goes into making sure that your social media profile and your content performs well. So the first is going to be building your audience. This probably, it makes a lot of sense, right? So the larger the audience that you have, and if we're talking about the context of Facebook, David and I, Facebook is our kind of like bread and butter platform that we really got started on, that we know so well, and that we train a lot of our clients to use. So on Facebook, you send friend requests, essentially. You build your friends list to connect with your audience, right? So if you've got only a couple hundred friends on Facebook, then your posts are going to have a smaller reach. So outside of using Reels, the posts that you're putting out on Facebook are only going to be shown to that friends list that you've got. So you want to make sure that you're consistently, daily, building that audience by sending friend requests. David and I are really big into making sure you know who your ideal client is and that you're selective about who you're sending those friend requests to people that you would actually do business with, either because they are a prospect or a referral partner, somebody says, I need more friends. Yes, we all need more friends, right? So yes, it's true. It's true. So if you've only got a couple hundred, everybody has to start somewhere. Everybody started with, a profile that had 0 friends on it. But that's going to be a huge reason why your content isn't working, is if you just don't have a big enough friends list and you're not actively growing that audience. So, and then the other thing I want to mention is that all of the strategies that we're talking about are from a personal profile. So, while it's important to have a business page, your growth strategies, everything that you're going to do is going to be from a personal profile. So make sure that you have an optimized personal profile so that you can really utilize these strategies we're going to talk about. So if you've got questions about the personal profile or specifically optimizing that, I think it was probably a few weeks ago, we did a training specific all on optimizing your profile. We're not going to dive deep into that for this training because we're going to talk more about the content strategy side. But it is absolutely foundational that you have your personal profile optimized so that you can actually utilize and see the results, see the leads coming in from your content that you're putting out.
And absolutely, and that's really great, is using a personal profile, send friend requests to your ideal clients or referral partners, and engage with people in the comments as far as some of the basics on there. But, coming back one step is if we're going to use social media to grow our businesses, then that's how we need to view it. We need to view it as a tool, as a strategy, as something that I'm doing. Just like if we're doing direct mail leads or going to networking events, if we're, working leads or getting referrals from referral partners, those are all things we do to grow our business. Social media is just like that. So we need to view it as a tool. And in order to effectively use a tool, you have to know how it works. So we've all used social media just for fun, and that's great. That's fantastic. But now we're talking about how do we use this effectively for our business? And it is different than how a lot of people think it works or should work, or even how Facebook tells you it should work, because Facebook is a business, surprise. And so, in fact, a very valuable one. And so that's what we have to keep in mind with using social media. So change your mindset, change your perspective. I want to use this for business. Be honest, probably wouldn't even be on Facebook if it wasn't such a great business tool and asset, because I personally don't like lots of parts of it, but it's so good for business and so useful that it is, or like our entire business is based a lot on Facebook and social media. And so that's why we teach it, is because it works, it's effective, but that means you have to know how the tool works. And so at the end of the day, I'm not going to do a big breakdown on this because we got more how to use it that we want to focus on, but you have to know how the tool works. And so Facebook makes its money through ads, no surprise. That's how it's making its money. So the entire way Facebook is set up, how it works, is based around that. So business pages, everybody thinks, hey, I need a business page. That's what I use for my business, right? That's how I get people. I maybe get a business page, I boost a post, and I get customers. That's not how Facebook works at all. In fact, Facebook makes money through ads. So it would be counterintuitive to have a lot of leads or prospects come through your business page for free if instead of you running ads. So that's why Facebook does not show posts and things you do on your business page to hardly anybody, because they want you to run the ads instead. Whereas on the opposite side, Facebook incentivizes personal profiles because they want people connecting, interacting, hanging out with each other, conversing, because then they get to serve them more ads and make more money. Hopefully this isn't mind or mind-blowing or new information for most people, but it will make a lot more sense when we talk about what we teach and train on, because you want to use Facebook the way that it's intended and works in order for you to get the most out of this for your business. So you got to realize that there's a reason we teach on personal profiles, because that is what works. That is what gets the engagement. That's what gets the people reaching out to you, the referral partners, people seeing you, your content, what you're doing, all that sort of stuff is personal profile. So that's what we're going to talk about, the strategies. That's why we did a whole training on optimizing your personal profile for using it. So definitely get that training that we mentioned earlier. But, at the end of the day, there's a whole reason is Facebook, once again, what we're going to talk about here, engagement. If you're getting engagement, activity, people like your content, people are paying attention to it and interacting with it, that means they're staying on Facebook longer. Facebook likes that. So if Facebook says, oh, people really like David's stuff, they're commenting, they're interacting with it, let's show David's stuff to more people. In fact, let's even show it to some people he doesn't even know and not even connected with, because it's that good of content. And all of a sudden now you have more people coming to you, talking to you, reaching out to you, referring people to you. And so you got to play the game and play it right to get the results that you want to get. So hopefully that makes sense, everybody. And once again, we've got to build an audience so that anybody can see our stuff in the first place, like Elle just mentioned. But let's hop in. So we talked about the basics. Elle,
I love it. There was one more basic tip that I wanted to make sure, as far as making sure, and you said it, but I wanted to make sure that that we highlight this. So making sure that you're strategically, I think I saw a comment there. Do I just randomly add people on Facebook? No, you want to connect with people that you would do business with. So somebody that fits in who your ideal client or prospect is, or an ideal referral partner, that would be somebody that also services your ideal client that would refer you business. So that's who you want to be connecting on Facebook with, is somebody that you have the potential to do business with. And then David, one more point. I know you want to say something. You've got that I want to say something face. The other thing is that you want to make sure that you're engaging with people. So it's not, again, we're going to talk about the content, but making sure that you are commenting on other people's posts. So you're building your friends list with people that are your ideal client or referral partner. And then you now see their stuff coming up in your feed. Well, you want to make sure that you're liking their content. So their stuff that's coming up on their feed, and commenting on it as well. It's better if they respond back to your comment, because what it does is it's building affinity between you and that other person. So then your content is more likely to show up into their feed. So before we even talk about content and what to post, and the magic post, which newsflash, or I'm going to go ahead and give it away, there's not a magic post. But you've got to make sure that you're implementing the foundational strategies of having an optimized profile, of making sure you're building your audience the strategic way with people that would do business with you, as well as engaging with them through comments, liking their stuff, as well as DMs, as well as one of the best ways that you can build affinity with people. All right, David, I know you had something you wanted to add there.
Yes. So the building the audience. So you only get 5,000 friend connections on Facebook, which sounds like a ton initially, but it really isn't. And also Facebook does take into account a bit of like how many people you have versus the amount of engagement you're getting. So you don't want dead weight or dead connections. And you think about this once again in business terms. If I went out and connected with a whole bunch of people that aren't people I want to work with, or super old connections that I don't even want to keep up with anymore, that don't talk to me ever, or ever I meet them once and I'm not going to hear from them for years and stuff again. Don't treat your Facebook like that as well. Like, I don't want a whole bunch of people that aren't target audience, aren't potential referral partners, potential COI, people that I don't even care about what's going on and stuff like that. Don't fill your list up of friends, quote unquote, or ever just to fill it. That doesn't do you any good. Just like going out and just talking to every single random person isn't the smartest idea either. So same thing on Facebook. We want this to be our target audience, people we can help. Strategic referral partners, are these people deal with my target audience that would be great for us to connect and potentially even do stuff together? Or centers of influence, are these people that know lots of people or are influential in some way or with certain niches? That's great for me to connect with too. That's who you're building up your audience with. And then it's very powerful. They're going to like your content. They're going to engage with it. They're going to ask questions. And then you can engage back and forth, just like Elle mentioned. And then that's very, very, very powerful, because people work with people they know, like, and trust. And social media is one of the best ways to build that. And that's what we're going to talk about. So conversation, pulling stuff through. It depends if it's with a potential prospect or the referral partner, on how you transition that. If you give a little more clarification, maybe who you're talking with, something like that, we can talk about an example of how to transition it. Sebastian was a good question, kind of going along with what we talked about. If I'm using my biz page to post and run paid ads, so I prefer to use the biz profile. Do you guys recommend doing the same Reels posts on personal profile as well? So yes, you have to have a business page to run ads. So yes, and it's fine to do some posts on your business page. Don't expect much to come out of that as far as the post on your business page. But yes, you can use the same content on your personal, and you should be primarily focusing on personal. I'm not saying this isn't a preference of like, oh, I prefer to do this or that. Personal is what works. Business does not work except unless you're running like ads or something like that. But so it's not a preference. It's like, I'm telling you, personal works. Business page by itself does not work as far as posting organic strategies. So use the same content, but post it again on your personal. Do not share from a business page. Facebook is not dumb. They know when you share something from a business page to personal, they know it came from a business page. They're going to limit that reach and not show it to very many people.
Love it. All right. So back to, we're talking about top reasons why certain posts don't generate the desired results. So we talk about the foundations here. So the behind the scenes work that goes into making sure that people are going to see your content. Now, some quick things that I want to run through of potential reasons why your content isn't working. And these are some really common mistakes that we see all of the time. Is David just mentioned it. So sharing posts, whether that's you're sharing posts from your business page, or your maybe it's a carrier's page that they're putting out information and you're just like sharing that post, it's not going to perform well. So what we do in that instance is we essentially want to take a post and, like, if it's an image or something like that, you download it and then you re-upload it into Facebook from your personal profile with the text that you want to share with it. So that's number one. I would say a better way to do this is actually to repurpose the content. So if you really like the message that the carrier is saying in the content. You're like, oh, wow, this is really powerful. Or there's things like Life Happens is an example. They put out like these little graphics and stuff about life insurance and little tips. Again, that type of content's not going to perform very well. It's very professionally designed. It looks nice. But what the magic is, if there's any magic to social media, it's that you are using your face and building a personal brand that people, they recognize and they resonate with. So by sharing that content that's developed by a third party, it kind of breaks that trust. You're not using your face at that point. So a better way to do that would be to take what appealed to you about that piece of content, kind of put it in your own words, and then take a selfie of yourself, like either at your office or at your desk, or if you've got selfies with clients or, even friends. Like David and I share our personal photos that are from our camera roll from vacations that we did. I just shared a photo of us telling a story about when we first got married, and I shared a picture of us from our wedding. Like we do this all of the time so that people, they know Elle and David probably more than they know the Jumpstart Go brand or our coaching programs, because we've built our personal brand. So that's really what's effective with social media marketing. So instead of sharing a link or sharing sharing someone else's post, say it in your own words and take a photo of yourself. Use your smiling face, use photos of your life, and let people see that, because social media is designed to be social. And that's why people get on the platform. It's to be distracted, but it's also to just know they want that window into the world of their friends and family. So make sure that you're using selfie style photos instead of just sharing links. And then the other thing that we see all the time is YouTube links. Don't share YouTube links or any other links that are going to take somebody away from Facebook. Why would Facebook want to extend the reach or promote a link that's going to take somebody away from the platform? They want to keep people on Facebook. So don't share a YouTube link. You're like, oh, there's a motivational video. You got super inspired by a Tony Robbins video or something. You had a really great takeaway from, and you want to share that with your audience. Again, repurpose it, put it in your own words, take a picture of yourself. Don't share the video. That's not going to perform well. It's killing your engagement.
Absolutely. I mean, Facebook makes money from ads. So if you send them off to another place that's a competitor like YouTube, who's then going to make the money off the ads they get to show them there, Facebook ain't too happy about that. So no, you put links in your posts, they will severely not get put in front of people. Very limited people will see them, interact with them, because Facebook doesn't want that. So don't put links in your posts. And basically with the sharing stuff, it comes down to, and this is not a personal attack on anybody, but it comes down to don't be lazy. And so it's easy and lazy to share posts. And we think that's helpful because it also comes into another misconception on how social works. Oh, when I post something or share something, my whole audience and friends list sees it. And so this is my easy way of sharing things with my audience. It's not how it works. Facebook, whenever you do a post, a limited portion, a small group of your audience will see that, and it'll come in their news feeds. And based on how they interact with it, Facebook will then decide to show it to even more of your audience or not. If it's not getting any engagement interaction, Facebook says, well, if I show that to people, they'll get bored and leave Facebook. So no, I'm not going to show that to them. And so that's how it works. So don't just share stuff like Elle said, because that's not original content. So Facebook says, okay, why would we put a shared post in front of people, versus your own reaction? At the end of the day, the whole point, once again, of using this for business is building that know, like, trust, and authority. And you sharing other posts from somewhere else isn't doing that. It's sharing someone else's know, like, trust, and authority, not you. So it's not going to help you. So if that makes sense at the end of the day. So,
all right. So now we're going to talk about, and we've actually already started talking about this, but boosting the algorithm to increase your visibility and reach the right audience and get more leads. So not that anybody, and if anybody does claim they know exactly how a social media algorithm works, that they're fibbing to you, because nobody actually knows. Facebook doesn't make it known as far as the, here's, the algorithm that we use to show
A post
content
with a
to
squirrel is
people.
worth 2 points, and a post with a dog is worth 3 points. But if you share it, then it's negative 1 point. There is no like ABCD, type thing for the algorithm.
So, but what we do know is that, since 2018, so 5 years, we've been building this group. And even since 2016, we have been using social media to generate business. And so we have tested a lot of things. We have failed at a lot of things. So the strategies that we share are things that we have implemented in our own businesses, as well as seen our clients implement and have success with. Because at the end of the day, and this is another myth I'll dispel here, it's really not about how many likes or comments you get, because if we're using social media for a business tool, what really matters is conversions and sales. We actually want the opportunity to have an appointment booked on our calendar, and have an opportunity to quote that person, run the appointment, and have an opportunity to have a sales conversation. So the number of followers you have, the engagement you have, the reach that you have, these are all things that we talk about just in the context of it's helping you have more conversations with people and more opportunities for quotes and sales. Otherwise, we wouldn't look at these metrics as far as, reasons why to validate social media at all. And I will say, like, looking at somebody's profile, just out of the number of friends they have or the audience they have, doesn't necessarily mean that they're using social media well to convert. So you can actually convert with a relatively small audience, but you want to make sure that you're implementing these strategies of building your audience, engaging with people, so that things are showing up in their feed. Okay, so for the algorithm, there, like I said, there's no X, Y, and Z. And these are things that we have implemented into our own business. So the number one way that you're going to boost engagement, again, you've got the foundations in place, you're building your friends list, you're engaging with people. The number one way is that you're going to boost engagement, and you're also going to see sales increase in your business is by telling compelling stories and creating content that resonates with people and speaks to them. So David and I we've actually been even like re-experimenting with this recently, and we've been able to cut our ad spend in half. And April was one of the best months that we've had in like the last 12 months, even like going even more in on organic social media. And one of the number one needle movers in that was telling compelling stories. So on our personal profile, the types of content that really resonates with people and boosts that engagement on the algorithm is a before and after style story where you're telling your own personal journey of transformation. So if you think about yourself 3, 5, 10 years ago, and every single person on this live, you're a business owner or a sales rep, you have your own personal journey that you've been on with insurance and in the context of running your business. So my challenge is to you, pick a point in time and share a transformation journey that you've had and how your business, your vehicle of selling insurance has transformed your life, or your business. And it doesn't have to be necessarily related to business. You could also share a transformation story or a before and after story, related maybe around a relationship, like a marriage or partnership like that. It could also be a faith-based journey of transformation as well. Something that is vulnerable and transparent and saying, hey, I was at this point and now I'm at this point. These are the lessons that I've learned. That type of content it goes viral. It's like people love it because they love to celebrate you. They love to be like, way to go. They are typically inspired by reading your stories. David and I are doing this a lot, and our business is part of our journey in our marriage, as well as just like our lives. It's just really integrated into everything that we do. So we share a lot about that on social media. So that's like the best tip that I can give you to really ignite your engagement, is to start sharing more stories like that. Also sharing compelling stories about how you're helping clients, families, businesses. And you want to use this formula of, maybe it's a business and maybe you as their agent, you were there in a time of crisis for them, or you helped them in some way. So be like, I was working with business X, Y, and Z. They had this, and this problem. And then they started working with I see Brian Moore is on the Brian Moore agency. And we were able to help them with X, Y, and Z. And now they're here. You're telling a story of transformation from point A to point B. And I guarantee if you start thinking about your content in the context of telling stories of transformation of yourself and sharing your own personal journey, as well as transformative content and how your clients are transformed, you're going to have people coming out of the woodworks being like, you did that for them. Can you help me with that too? Guarantee it. I guarantee if you start really thinking about painting the story of transformation, it is one of the most powerful tools that you can use to ignite engagement, have people that are commenting and liking, but then also then in your DMs reaching out to you because they're resonating with what you're saying.
I love it. Social media is not the place to be shy, and also not the place to be hidden, to be a secret agent. On social, this is where we want to like share like who we are, what do we do, how do we help, what are stories that we have helped someone, and so they actually know. Like, no one can come to you or work with you if they don't even know what you do or who you are. And then it's the place to, not in like a arrogant sense of the way, but it is the place to like share your successes and the people that you've helped and the impact you've made. And it's the place that people get to know that and be like, oh, I need that too, or I want you to help me with that also. And how powerful is that when they can see examples of that, or to know how you've made a difference. And, otherwise no one knows except for that one client, but you want to spread the word, right? And so it's the same thing. Also, why being connected and friends with your clients and referral partners and supporters, your friends, your tribe, on social is so powerful too, because as you share those, they get to be like, oh, they also helped me, or they did that for me too. Or the client that you're sharing about was like, yes, that was me, and it was such a big difference, and then they get to vouch in that social proof and drop referrals and be like, yeah, they helped me. In fact, let me tag my buddy Susan on this who needs that too. And now you're getting to reach out to Susan. So you want this tribe, this brand, this following that you've built up of people being like, man, this person is awesome. Like Brian Moore, like, people are working with him. Like, I'm a big fan. Like, yeah, let me comment on his stuff and say, yeah, Brian's awesome. Like, if you're not working with him, you should be. And people see that and they're like, I guess I should work with Brian. Like, that sounds good. So, that's how powerful this can be. Is like, once again, it's a lot of the same concepts that we have used forever in the real world and going out, is people talking us up, word of mouth that we call it, and people like being like, oh yeah, blank is great, blank is fantastic, I had this happen with me, or whatever. Oh, well, let me introduce you to my friend so you can help them too. The same concepts are now on social. It's just now we can do it for a much bigger audience and all across the country than just what used to be only in a small local community where we could go see people.
I love it. I love this. So next up is the best content pieces you should be consistently sharing right now to drive meaningful interactions and generate leads. Hint, it's not want a free quote.
Really? I thought that worked. I thought I'd just be like, hey, come get an insurance quote. And people just lined up the door and they just got me a lot of quotes. If that's worked for you on social and you just got a ton of people coming through when you post, come get a free quote, let me know. Because I have not seen that happen. And yet agents keep on trying it. What's the definition when you keep doing the same thing, expecting different results? Yeah, insanity. So let's not be insane. Let's be smart. So that's what we're going to talk about. How to be smart on social.
Okay, so we talked, I know I really dove into the telling stories. I really think right now that is the best content that you can be sharing for engagement style. The thing about with the storytelling content, a lot of times you don't include a call to action with that. It's going to be more of, you're just kind of sharing it to inspire others through your story. And being vulnerable and being real and showing up as your authentic self on social media. That's really what that is. You kind of want to think about that type of social media content is really good for rapport building. It's really good for trust building and having people be like, wow, like what Ellen and David are saying, that their story resonates with my story. That's kind of the point of that story based content and the transformation style content. So other great types of content, which are not going to be as like, you're not going to get a ton of engagement necessarily on it, but this is where you're going to start being able to pull out the buyers and people that will raise their hands to want to work with you, is where, you start breaking down objections, objections that you commonly hear on your sales calls. Make sure you're writing those down, and then start thinking about how you can build some social content around it. So, maybe it's like, oh man, maybe it's rate increases. Every single PNC agency owner right now, this is the conversation we're having around the rate increases that are going on. So maybe you're getting a lot of objections around that, and you can start thinking about dismantling that, dispelling some myths around that. Like this is this is happening across the country. Of course, some markets are getting hit way harder with rate increases than others, but this is happening across the board, and it doesn't necessarily matter if they're going to go make a switch. They're still going to experience a rate increase, and you're able to really tackle on value selling at that point, and why working with you as their trusted advisor instead of going and trying to find something cheaper online is a better option. So really starting to think about how you can put together content to dispel myths and educate people. So something like that is just like, it's a call to action. You're letting people know that next step that they can take, but it's not dial this number or fill out this form. It's not a bunch of complicated steps. It's an easy thing that they can write in the comments, or you can also say, send me a DM with the word, review in it. So if you're doing reviews for people, write the word review and DM me, and I'd be happy to take a look. Something like that really invites people to do business with you versus the get the free quote or call me here or click this link, is more of like a soft call to action that invites them in. So a really great strategy is to use the highly engaging style storytelling, transformation style post, and then to follow it up with the style of post where you're handling objections, you're dispelling myths, and then you're doing a call to action or sharing a client success story is great. So again, that we helped client X, Y, and Z go from point A to point B. If you want help with this too, or you want again that review, then comment review in the comments as your call to action. So call to actions, I would say, is something that I see agents get wrong a lot on social media, and that really causes a block. You think about it like a brick wall. So you've got this whole audience of people on social media that are seeing your content, that are interacting with it and engaging with it. And now you're trying to you're increasing friction for them to do business with you by asking them to dial a number or to click a link and fill out a form, when it would just be as easy as asking them to write a comment like we're doing here, or to send you a DM. So think about how you can reduce the friction, still have a call to action on that next step, so that you can have an opportunity for someone to raise their hand, say they're interested in working with you, but at the same time, you're not putting so much friction in place and asking them to do so many steps.
Love it, because at the end of the day, people are lazy. So the more you ask them to do, then the less will take action and do those things. Not a comment necessarily on people, just the natures of people in general. So if you study psychology at all, or anything like that, it will have a lot of effect on you realizing what works, what doesn't work, and why. And I think that's actually a great thing to look at, and realizing people don't want to take a lot of action, especially if they don't have a lot of like and trust built in yet or ever. So being like, hey, book an appointment here, give me a call here. That's asking them, like Elle said, to do a lot when they don't maybe even know really who you are or trust you that much or anything like that, versus just dropping a comment. Oh, I can do that. Me. Bam. I type 2 letters and hit enter. I can do that. That's not a lot of asking me to pick up a phone and call someone right now. So, and then you can reach out to them at any point. It doesn't even matter if you're available right then. You have the comment and now you can reach back out. So think about that. Think about that in everything you do, is kind of like that psychology has a big impact. That's why I love thinking about that with everything that we do.
Taking people off of Facebook is not going to increase your leads. Keeping people on Facebook, keeping them in comments and DM is how you're going to get the most leads from social media, not taking them away. As soon as you take them away from Facebook, you're adding friction, you're adding additional steps, you're going to start losing people. So if your goal is volume, there's no need for a landing page or a sales page at that point.
I mean, think about it. If someone walked up to you in person and was like, I need insurance right now, and I want you to help me with insurance, are you gonna be like, okay, yeah, here's a link to my website and go there and maybe find a time and schedule something, or we'll figure this out or whatever. You're gonna be like, oh, cool, yeah, let's help you right now. Or worst case, let me set a time with you right then. You're not gonna then go ask them to go do some stuff that they may or may not do, or may go to someone else to do that. You're gonna do it right there. So same thing on social. If you got someone interested connecting, the quicker you can get to a call or a meeting with that person, the better. So why are you then sending them off to do all these extra steps that less and less people are going to do? So you're taking maybe now the few opportunities that you have of people being like, oh yeah, I'd love to talk, I'd love to chat, I need help with that. And now you're losing more of those by making them do extra steps instead of just, hey, yeah, let's have a call right now, or let's set up a time today and we'll meet or ever, versus, yeah, I'm going to have you go do all these extra. Like Elle said, it's only once you have a flow of so many people that I need to start sending them off to do that, to even be able to handle it all. That's when that makes sense. But in the meantime, if you don't have that, then you're just hurting yourself, actually.
That's right.